Thoughts are not facts. Don't believe everything you think. And when you look at this, you kind of go, what? That doesn't make any sense. Thoughts are not facts. And then you kind of, you part of it. There's lots to this. Thoughts, like the first thing of thoughts are not facts, is very helpful if you're empathic or you're intuitive or you're trying to cultivate your intuition. Because when you're doing that, it's very easy to give it too much significance, or you sort of feel it's very easy to develop a feeling that your intuition is like a calculator or like a thermometer or like something else like that. Certainly, let me qualify that. I'm very intuitive. I use my intuition all the time, particularly in my one-to-one work. And the stakes are very high in that because people are coming to me in pain, physical pain, emotional pain, spiritual pain. So whether I'm right or not, it's kind of important. It's not just like, oh, I had a feeling about something and it doesn't really matter. It matters a lot. So I'm saying it from the place of using it, and I use it all the time in very high stakes kind of situations. But even with that, I never think it's 100% accurate. I never think my sense of things is 100% accurate. I always have this feeling of humility and that I can only ever see what I'm shown, and that I can get it wrong because it has to come through my little system, it has to come through my body, my brain, my thoughts, my prejudices, my longings, my shadow, all my stuff, all my unconsciousness. It has to come through that. So I don't forget that. And I don't kind of go, oh, that's it now, I'm 100% right, And I think that's probably why I am as successful as I am. I think my intuition or my sense of things is probably about 95% right. But I never forget the 5%. And I've seen it with people where they we all grow up in this materialistic kind of world, in this mechanistic kind of world where intuition is frowned upon and you're told, no, it's not true. It's not a real thing. And when you start to realize, I'm not so sure if that's not a real thing. I think maybe it is a real thing. It's easy to kind of get into a rebellious phase and go, no, everything my intuition tells me is true. And that is, it's gonna hurt you eventually, because eventually you'll get it wrong. Eventually you're 5%, or it's 5% now for me. It didn't start off like that. It's probably about 50-50 or a little bit more than 50-50. I think that's where it starts for most people. It's maybe 60-40, and the little extra 10% where you get it right too many times for it to be just random allows you to begin to believe it and sort of follow it. But, there's 40% that's, you're going to be wrong 40% of the time. So if you're going, no, everything my intuition tells me is correct, you're going to make some terrible decisions. You're going to choose the wrong people. You're going to choose the wrong place to live. You're going to choose all sorts of things. So you kind of have to hold these two things of like, this is what my intuition is telling me. This is what my experience is telling me, because your experience is useful as well, and hard-won experience, And it goes into the mix of how do you want the world to go? How do you want your world to go? How do you want your life to go? All that kind of thing. But this idea that thoughts are not facts, that's a useful one to put in. And the difficult thing with this is not to undermine yourself. Because you've been undermined your whole life when it comes to intuition, because the whole world is saying it's not true. And then you start to lean into it a bit. And you have to kind of cultivate it, So it's almost like you have to know that you're probably going to get it wrong some of the time. And when you do get it wrong, you just ignore it. You just let it go. You just don't put your focus on it. Just focus on the times you do get it right, and then that builds it. that grows it, but if you just kind of go, no, everything my intuition tells me is correct, then when you do get it wrong, it's like it attacks the base of it, and it actually has the opposite effect of what you want. It diminishes it. It makes it shrink, because now you're sort of, because you see, if you happen to mention it to people and they go, well, that's rubbish, and then it turns out to be wrong, then it's like, oh god, and you develop this mentality. Whereas if you know that you're not a weighing scales, you're not a barometer, you're not a thermometer, you're a dynamic, wonderful, amazing, multifaceted being, that you're not going to get a definite thing, that it's a moving, dynamic thing, and that sometimes you're not going to get it right. You're not going to get it right, and that's okay, but just focus on the times you do get it right, and they'll grow. So that's great. The other thing is not believing everything that you think. Now, that is a bit of a head wrecker, and it's a bit of a Zen koan kind of a thing. But what it does is it kind of points you towards you're more than your mind, because your mind disappears every night. You lie down, you go to sleep, you're thinking, then thinking turns into dreaming, then dreaming turns into the psychic world, and then you drop out the bottom into deep dream to sleep, where you have no body, no house, no legs, no thoughts, but more importantly, no you as you know yourself to be. Your mind is gone. And the only reason we don't resist going to sleep is because our mind kind of goes, well, it will all continue when I'm back. I'll just not be here for a while and then I'll be back. But what is not here? That's a very profound kind of thing. Where do we go? What happens? What happens to this mind, to my memories, to my history? Where does all that go? And that's a bit of a clue towards this idea of not believing everything that you think, or not being so attached to this whole personality, this whole existence, this whole thing. Because what happens in sleep, everything goes. Everything that's important to us goes. Our heartbreak, our memories, our deep loves, the things we fight to hang on to in life, our health, our body, all gone every night. Doesn't bother us, okay? Yet, we return from wherever it is that we go, and we feel refreshed. Now, I know you could say, well, that's a biological thing, John, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. But inside, we are refreshed. We wake up. If we get a good night's sleep, if we don't get to go into the mystery too much, because that's where we go. When we drop out the bottom into deep dream and sleep, we go into the mystery. If we can't get there, if we were disrupted sleep, like the other night, my cat, for some reason, kept coming upstairs and almost like on purpose tapping on the door. So when I woke up, I did not feel as refreshed as I normally do, because I was kind of coming back from the mystery all the time. I'd hear this little thing on the door and go, what's that? Oh yeah, it's just Ginger. Yeah. So I didn't fully wake up, and I didn't fully go into the mystery. I was kind of wavering in and out of it. So wherever it is that we go, we come back from it and we feel refreshed. And it's kind of the same in meditation. In meditation, certainly the way I meditate and the way I teach meditation, is you're kind of going into deep dream to sleep, but you're doing it consciously. You're going into the mystery, but you're doing it consciously. So from doing that, you begin to go, because you're turning off, you're stopping thinking, you're turning off the pictures, you're turning off the sound. So you're doing that repeatedly. And you're going, well, I thought I was worried about that thing. I thought I was thinking about that thing, but I just turned it off, and yet I'm still here. In fact, I can see myself thinking. I can see the thoughts arising. I can see them coming. So if I am looking at something, I cannot be that thing that I'm looking at. Before I started meditation, I thought I was that thing. I thought I was the one worrying about why I said that to the greengrocer, or why I said that to that other person, or why they said that to me. I thought that was all me. But now I'm looking at it. I can kind of see it. Oh yeah, there I am thinking that. So if I'm seeing that, then I'm not that. So I'm something else. And that's what's so great about this, is that not believing everything that you think. Thinking is, it sort of feels like lots of little bubbles of thoughts that come together into what we call a personality and a mind and a construction, like that this is me. But it's not really. I'm something else, just like you are, something deeply mysterious to myself and to other people, like you are to yourself and to other people. And seeing that, you sort of see the thoughts in a different context. You kind of go, okay, these thought things are useful for interacting with the world, for talking, for making podcasts, for doing all that kind of stuff. But they're not who I am. There are things that I have, It's like having a car. It's really handy having a car, particularly if you live in the country. Really handy. But I don't kind of look at my car and go, that's me. That's who I am. It's kind of the same with my mind and my thoughts. I can see them. I can use them. But I don't think they're me. And, you can see that in your own experience every night. Deep dream to sleep. You don't have to meditate. It helps if you meditate them. I mean, the difference between meditation and deep dream to sleep, it's just consciousness. Like in meditation, you're going to the same place, but you're doing it consciously. Whereas in deep dream to sleep, you don't have to do anything. You just lie down and it just all naturally kind of happens. You just go into the mystery. It's beautiful. So yeah, don't believe what you think, and thoughts are not facts. Brilliant.